What's going on, everyone? Welcome, Rabbit here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to install the expansion drive onto your PlayStation 5. Now, why would you want to do that? By default, the original one is all said and done. You only have like a little over 600 gigabytes worth of space on your PS5. I do have the digital version, and that's just not much room for PS5 games. Now, if you have a lot of PS4 games, you can just use something like a USB external hard drive or something, but you cannot use that unless you only want to store PS5 games. You will need something a lot faster to support PS5, and that's why I do have this right here. This is a Western Digital Black 2 terabyte NVMe drive. It is actually faster than the drive that is within the PS5 console itself. So that's awesome. We're getting a boost here. And the awesome thing with the PS5 is there's actually an expansion slot in the PlayStation itself for such drives. That means you do not need to remove the internal drive that's in there by default and have to install software and all that other stuff. We can simply just expand our current PS5. So if you do have your PS5 on the base, first thing you're going to need to do is remove your base. So I'm going to remove that, set it on its side, and we're going to remove our panel to expose our expansion slot. So once your base is removed, you'll look at the side, you'll see one side has a PlayStation symbol. So that is not the side we want. We actually got to go to the reversal side. So if we look on the back side here, we can see that there is no PlayStation symbol. This is the side cover that we are going to have to remove to expose our expansion slot. So now you got to figure out the easiest way to pull these covers off. And one is looking at this PlayStation symbol. These are the two tabs here that you will pull off. So the PlayStation side, which we don't want in this case unless you're changing out your side panels, you'd pull it off this way. And then the other side, which we do need, we're going to pull the opposite side of the PlayStation symbol. So this side right here. So we're going to have this corner facing the opposite right, and we're going to be bracing with our other hand on the bottom, pulling towards us. And it's a simple peeling technique, which I'll show you when I lay this down. So I have my PlayStation laying down, and if you're just trying to do your drive as well, another way to look for the bottom is right down here in this corner. This is actually where you plug in your power supply. So the power cable is at the bottom here. That's what we're gonna brace. So I'm coming in, my left hand down here, and then I'm gonna peel this corner up. And this is the corner that's opposite of that PlayStation symbol right on the other side. So we're simply going to brace it and peel away, like you can see, and then it pulls up. There we go. So that is out, and our expansion slot is actually right here. So in order to remove the back plate, you are going to need a fairly small Phillips. If you're unfamiliar, Phillips, that is your star screwdriver. And you could probably give this a cleaning if yours is dirty. But I want to point out here, look at the cool design they actually have on this little bolt. And you can see, or I guess screw, not really a bolt, but we can see the PlayStation symbols. We got the square, triangle, X, and circle there. So it looks kind of neat. So I'm going to remove this here right quick, put in our screwdriver, and simply twist it out. There you go. It's a fairly long screw, as you can see there. I wasn't expecting it to be that long, but it is. Now we're just going to prop out the little cover here. There you go. It fell. So there is our expansion slot. Now we're going to need to size up our slot to our drive, and here is my drive. And a few things to point out first is once you do get one of these drives, you got to make sure it comes with a heatsink. If it doesn't, you're going to need to get a third-party heatsink, and a lot of them do say if they're PS5 verified. Now what that means is they need at least a speed of 5,000 megabytes per second. The default one with the PlayStation is 5,000, but it does sound like some around 32, which is slower, actually work in this. So make sure you have a heatsink as well as they meet the dimensions and speeds requirements for this, because the slower your drive, obviously the less performance you'll have in your game loading speeds. Now we're also going to need to size up our holes depending. So here is our screw hole and stand that we're going to need to put right here. So if we just slide this in here, we can see that we need the hole in this spot here which is this hole here. So we're going to have to move this into this spot here, and then we'll have the right correction, because this kind of, the drive actually sits on top of your little stand here. It doesn't go right down because it will cause pressure, bend, and eventually break as it heats and cools. So you can see I have the offset kind of right here, and now we're just going to install our drive, which is a simple process. We just got to line all the pins up with the pins in the PlayStation, and it should slide right in like so, and then simply drop this down onto the offset and install our screw again. So we're just going to get this ready, get our screw in, make sure you're in all the way. You should know that your drive is properly installed in the slot by it. It's hanging out kind of at an angle here. As you can see, it's got the pressure down here. These are all fully in. If not, it's kind of hanging out too much and you won't be able to close it down and get your screw in. So I'm going to install our screw now. That's a fairly simple process. You simply push down your drive, put that in the little slot there, and then screw it in. So let's just get that in there. Snug it up a bit. Now you don't want it too tight. You don't want to start cracking anything, but as long as it's snug, you're good to go. Next, you got to install your plate again. Make sure you get that in the proper slot as well, like so, and then install that big screw with the PlayStation symbols on it. So we're just gonna get that in the hole there. There we go. Screw this in. Again, you don't need that too tight as well. That's it. Now we got to get the cover back on. Now for the cover, it's just kind of opposite of what we did last time. So you can see all the grooves here are actually kind of going inwards, and all the slots are going inwards as well. So we just got to kind of line it up and then push straight up, and everything should latch in. So we're just going to put a little bit of pressure on top, kind of feel it come in. And now I'm just going to slide it right up. Bam. That's it. That's simple. It is a very fast process. Now you can use the same process, obviously, if you want to get different color panels and everything as well. But you should now be up and running, have your new expansion hard drive ready to go. All you got to do is plug it back in, turn it on, hit the format button, good to go. Thank you for checking this out. I will see you on the next one. Rabbit out.